Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and I am so excited. Back by popular demand, it's the one and only crazy George Wallace. How are you, sir? Welcome back.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
And there goes everybody
Everybody's.
wanting to talk to George Wallace. Hey, Coy Malone, how are you?
Coy is
Oh, I'm
doing
pretty
very
good.
well.
I'm not sure where I am right now, if anybody can see me or hear me, but I'm doing great. I'm sitting here chilling with my plants.
I'm
So it's
thinking
good.
you're near a swimming pool. Seems like you just got a swimming suit on and just threw a towel over you. Is that right?
For those who
No.
can't see this, who are only able to listen, Coy has on a rather skimpy outfit, as George might say.
It's a sweater! Don't you pull it up? Here we go.
hmm George, how are you? We've missed you.
Well, thank you so much. It's good to be back. You know me, I've been just working and trying to figure out things, and life has been good. A little travel back and forth to Los Angeles, trying to get this TV show rolling. Everything is crazy. It's been busy. It's been
It's
busy.
so you've been working on a number of projects. When you say this TV show, is this the Laverne Cox
Yes,
and
yes, yes,
Norman
yes.
Lear production you're
Yeah.
working on?
Yeah, last week I flew out to Los Angeles to do the reel, and when I got there, my manager tested positive. So
I
we drove in
saw
the
you
same
say
car,
that. Yeah.
and they wouldn't allow me in either. So I said, "That's fine with me." And my manager's wife said, "What did George do?" He said, "He left me." I did. I said, "You get your own car going back," and he then I tested positive and I flew back home immediately. So I'm good though. I'm
So,
good.
George, you did like that school teacher mom. Her son tested positive, and she threw him in the trunk of the car.
Oh,
Are
goodness.
you serious?
Yeah, it happened in Houston, Texas area, and this school teacher, her son tested positive, and so she threw him in the back of the car so he wouldn't contaminate her, or I don't know who else was in the car, but
Listen, it's a joke, but it makes sense to me. You ain't riding with me, okay? Get another way home.
yeah, well, this kid had no other way, so his mom said, "Okay, we'll get you home, all right, but you got to be in the trunk." And she got
Wow.
in a lot of trouble. A lot of parents came to her defense, school members came to her defense, but I guess they got it all worked out. Corey, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. Well, just learning that positivity helps in a lot of situations, even things that are perceived as negative. What I've started incorporating, I might have mentioned this before, is just, you know, taking the time to be grateful for everything, incorporating a lot more gratitude. And one of the things that I'm seeing that's I guess it's just a reminder for me to change how I react and perceive things by making my first initial reaction, even in my thoughts, positive. And
hmm
it's helped a lot of different situations. It's helped me to see opportunities in situations that kind of seem like they're closed doors.
Uh-huh.
So that's helping a lot, especially with me managing through, dealing with managing my dad's uh, home, going through working at a job that I'm having fun at, but it's not paying that much, and still on a job hunt and trying to get all of that secured, and it's just helping me to take time to enjoy the process of what's going on and seeing the opportunities in an environment that seems like it's just full of closed doors and
Yeah.
heartbreak and upset and all that.
Well, it's
And
always important to live in a positive environment. So try to keep yourself
Yeah.
positive no matter what, whatever it is. Uh, think of it like this: all things are small things. They're all things. Sometimes worried about a situation is worse than the situation itself. So you think
Yeah.
positive and keep going in the right
keep
direction.
up. Yeah. And also, George, I think this is true. Our word for the year is grace. Give yourself some grace.
Hmm.
Yes.
Take it easy on yourself, as I've said before, and this too shall pass. That's another thing
Right.
That's
uh,
good, Sybil.
that we have learned in just years of difficulty or moments of strife or whatever. It's all going to pass, and you will learn from it, but you'll keep going. And also that relates to our what's really going on question of the day. So hang on as we get to that this afternoon. All right, so I want to talk about what's going on in the news. This is our topical information, and this makes I'm hotter than spit, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to tell you, but this all goes to our point of why you need to register to vote.
And you did say spit.
I did hotter than spit.
She spit.
Spit it. SP.
Yes.
So in its first decision on congressional district redistricting this season, the Supreme Court sided with Alabama's Republicans and blocked the creation of a new Black majority district in that state. We just talked about this last week, that there had been an appellate court that had allowed for some changes to take place and allowing for a Black majority district. But today, by a 5-4 vote, the justices set aside for now a ruling by the panel of 3 judges, 2 of whom were Donald Trump appointees, who said the state Republican-controlled legislature of Alabama could have and should have drawn a second district that could elect a Black candidate to the U.S. House of Representatives. The 5 most conservative justices, all Republican appointees, voted to block the order made by the panel of judges and to hear arguments later on the legal issue. Chief Justice John Roberts was the only one to side with the liberal justices, and he filed a separate lengthy dissent. Kavanaugh said in a concurring opinion that the state should not be forced to redraw its districts within a few weeks as required by the lower court.
Within a few weeks.
Justice Elena Kagan said the High Court should not have intervened after the 3-judge panel closely examined the case. And she said, here did everything right under the law existing today. The judges told Alabama lawmakers to redraw the map of congressional districts, or they would appoint an expert to redraw them. The U.S. Supreme Court said, nope, not going to happen. And they are saying that Black Alabamans are sufficiently represented. So here we go. This is why we need to register to vote. We need to get people to be representative in the state House and Senate in Alabama, in Texas, in Georgia. And so that your representatives will have a say in the drawing of these congressional maps. These people in the state legislature are determining who can run and in what districts for the U.S. Congress.
And it's happening all over the country. It's Georgia. Don't we have more? I know we have more Democrats in Georgia. I don't know about Alabama, but it's so important to vote. We've got to get out there and vote, no matter what. If I'm sick, I'm going to vote. Write in whatever, call in. If they give us a 2-hour span, I got to make that vote, and you got to make that vote.
That's right, George. The state of Texas is the first up in the primaries, and that is March 1st. I was out over the weekend and for a friend who was running for office, and it was great to be out there. But we got to get out there and encourage people to vote as they represent us, and encourage everybody to get involved in the political process, as Coy Malone instructed us years ago, get your booties to the poll.
Yes, get your booties to the poll. There's so much on the ballot that a lot of people don't pay attention to or don't understand.
Right.
This is your time to take the time to educate yourself on what's your ballot, what you're voting for, who you're voting for, your voting process. There are things that concern you. It's not just about the president and the vice president.
Right.
Well, I'm still a Christian, and I say get your souls to the poll. Get your damn souls to the poll. That's
okay.
Get yourselves to the poll.
Everybody gets and take somebody with you. Alabama has 7 seats in the United States House, and for 3 decades, one of the districts had a Black majority and elected a Black candidate. Terry Sewell is that one Black Congress member from the state of Alabama. The lower court judges agreed with civil rights lawyers who said because more than 25% of Alabama voters are Black, a second district could be drawn that would likely elect a Black candidate. And the majority of the United States Supreme Court disagreed. And so now here we are. They are going to hear this case. But in the meantime, they say they don't have enough time to redraw. What to take? They knew what they had to do.
You know what they're doing. They don't have enough
Exactly.
time right now. Exactly. Yeah.
So here we move to the state of Georgia, George and Coy, and the Senate, the Georgia Senate has voted to put a statue of Clarence Thomas on Capitol grounds.
My mic is not working, and my earphone is not working. You didn't say what you just said because I'm trying to be a Christian. I don't want to cuss. Why don't they? We need somebody Black up on. We don't need another white man up on a statue. That's what we're doing right now. Clarence Thomas, oh my God. Are you serious?
They voted in the Georgia Senate on a party line vote to place a monument honoring U.S. Supreme Court Justice and son of Georgia, Clarence Thomas, a statue on the Capitol grounds.
But one thing I do know, I'm from Georgia, born and raised in Georgia. Let them put up a Black statue. Them white folks will take care of it. Don't worry about it. They'll take care of it. They'll white him up. They'll white him up. But we can't have this. We can't have Clarence Thomas represent us in any way. White people are Black people. We don't need him. I hate him. I hate Tim Scott.
Oh, the senator from South Carolina.
You can't stand up for your people. You don't represent me at all. I'm sorry.
So they're going to create a monument committee of 3 members each from the Georgia House and Senate who will be tasked with approving the design, George. So I don't know how the design, the acquisition, and placement of the monument. The public, it says no public money will be spent, which would be funded through private donations.
It'll be with a white robe, a white robe and a white cap, white gown, and it will be, oh my God, this cannot happen. This cannot happen.
So the Democrats who are voting against this, they recalled the allegations of sexual harassment against Thomas during his confirmation hearings,
yes,
as well as a claim that his wife, Jeannie, helped organize the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol in January 2021. That investigation is still going on. Jeannie.
Is it true that you said that you had a long dong silver?
You remember that?
That's what the old white man said from Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It gets crazier and crazier.
No, it doesn't get any crazier. No, wait a second. It doesn't get any crazier than that. The people from Georgia have lost it. Who the hell would want to put up a statue of Clarence Thomas? Where is it going to be? The white people going to paint it white. The Black people going to shoot at it. It ain't going to work. It ain't going to work.
Well, luckily, it won't be taking any of your state funds as a Georgia citizen. But they're working on it now. They're going to appoint a committee, Coy, in order to find a place to get the money together and where to put it. I can tell them where to put the statue.
I tell you, I'm writing a book right now. I'm writing a book now called "There's Something Wrong with the People in the South." They probably want to put him on Stone Mountain.
Why
not? Might as well.
Might as well, right?
They're finding any and every way to just remind us that we're still here and we're going to get this thing going. And guess what? You don't have to pay for it. We will.
Clarence Thomas,
son of Georgia, George.
Could have been Hosea Williams. Could have been Maynard Jackson. Hey, Darren.
No. It could have been another white man. Don't put Clarence Thomas. I don't give a damn. Put another
Jimmy Carter.
Okay, Jimmy Carter.
Hey. I've not been to the Carter Center, but do they have a statue of him there?
I don't recall seeing one. I don't recall going to the Carter Center. If I did, it's been on.
I like to go there.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's right down the street.
Neither one of you have been there.
I drove.
I don't remember. I think I have, but I think I was a kid. I don't remember.
I drove by it. I need to go there. I drove by it, but that would be nice.
We should go, and especially while he's still alive. I mean, not that we're going to see him there, but he's done so much beyond his presidential years.
He's come to my show in Las Vegas. I've had photos with him. I should drive down to Plains, Georgia, just to wave and say hello because it's such a great.
That would be so awesome.
Sybil, I had some great moments. They had a World Series in Atlanta one time, and he sat right in front of me. He and his wife Rosalind. They're just good people. They're just good people.
Yeah. And
So I
they've been
should just.
married a gazillion years. They're both in their 90s, if I'm
I
not
don't think.
mistaken.
I don't think
And
they know it. I don't think they know they've been married a long time. But they have been married a long time. Good
That's
people.
very funny. George, I do want to talk one other political matter, and that is the Black Republican former Georgia State Representative Vernon Jones has announced that he will drop out of the race for governor and instead he will run for the U.S. Congress. He said, after much prayer and consideration, I've decided I can best serve the people of Georgia in the Congress of the United States. He announced this on Twitter. I believe the strong conservative voices need to be heard as we lead America into the future. Um, there may be
Yeah.
also there might be some truth to that. Um,
What happened to
but
the first prayer? Didn't he have a prayer that God told him to run for?
yeah, told him to
Yeah.
leave the
So now he
Democratic
got
Party and to
another
run.
person.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So the prayer has changed. Whatever he got, whatever he got from the Lord, means that that didn't
I'm
work.
tired of people lying. The Lord told me. The Lord ain't told you a spit. The Lord ain't told you. People always say, the Lord told me to do this. The Lord told me to do. The Lord. People just make up stuff. I don't know why they do that. And he's a good friend of mine. I still like him. We don't talk. I haven't talked since he announced his candidacy for 3 offices. But I think Georgia is kind of tired of him. I think he's
Mm.
gone. I think he's through. To be
Well, he
honest.
wasn't getting much traction in the race for governor. Of course, your current governor is running for reelection, as well as David Perdue,
David
the former
Perdue.
U.S. senator,
Mhm.
and so those are the two high-profile Republicans running for the Republican nomination, and maybe the writing was on the wall, or maybe somebody said, "Dude, it's not going to work."
Well, when it first happened, Trump was supporting him supposedly.
Hmm.
Now, but now Trump is supporting David Perdue.
Yeah.
So he has nowhere to go. He got no money, he got no fun, and he has no following. I don't know why he was running for that office. I don't know why he's running for congressman again. Nobody likes him in Georgia. I feel sorry for him. He's a
Mm.
good guy. We still laugh and joke together, but I think you missed your train.
So, George, I don't want to infringe upon your private conversations with your friends, but has that ever been a part of the conversation? Like, you might want to look at another way to make a living.
You might want to go down to Waffle House. They're paying 80,000 a
They're
year or
paying.
something. No, I have, even as a friend, when politics came up, because I just said, stop it right there. Let's not talk politics because you're on the other side of the line. And my friendship right now, we're laughing, but I can stop laughing just like that. Uh, just like that. I tell you what, I'm fed up with with their policies. So
Yeah,
I can get in trouble for saying this because all Black Republicans are not bad people,
right.
but I don't know how you could be a Republican and deal with what's going on in the Congress.
That's a very good point, George. And also, I can't wait to see who the Republicans select to go up against Stacey Abrams.
Well, it's probably still gonna be the
You think
man
it'll
that
be
never
Kim?
the man that never smiles, never, ever, ever smiles.
Brian Kim?
And he talks like a 4th grader, and he's just going on and on and
Well, he
on.
might be talking to his audience then.
The 4th grade audience.
Well, I think Stacey's going to be there, and you're talking about getting out to vote.
Yeah.
We have to get out and vote. And Coy, all of us, we got to get out. You got to get your polls. Where you got to booties to the polls and souls to the polls, ass to the masses. Let's get out and let's do it. Got to do it.
George, are you excited about the elections? Because as Coy said, it's more than just the president and the vice president. Now we are in the midterms where we are talking about other offices. We're talking about the governors and the lieutenant governors, the state attorney generals, and so forth and so on. The state and the state house and the state senate positions, as well as
Just
for
keep going
the
down the line.
future.
Name every position you can name. It is so important. I was never concerned about. I really, really wanted Biden to win and Kamala Harris to win,
Hmm.
but I was more concerned about the local representatives because that's where the power comes in. Our judges and all
Yeah.
of these. I really the judges is strong for me. I just Supreme Court. That's why I wanted. Not I almost said something really bad. I wish Judge Ruth Ginsburg had
Yeah.
resigned earlier, and And I hope Clarence get out. And I don't know how they're going to get rid of some of these people, but they got to go. And I hope they go in the next 3
Well,
years.
there's just two ways out for them: to retire like Stephen Breyer is doing, or to unfortunately
Do
like
Aliota. What's his
yeah,
name? Yeah. Yes. Well,
yeah.
I need some Democrats in the Supreme Court. That's the most important place because they could take us back.
Right, right, for sure. And they are taking us back. Look at Alabama. So let's talk about what's really going on. It's now time for our question of the day, and as I
What's really going on is you need to get your ass out there and vote. That's what's really going on. That's the bottom line of the whole thing. You got to vote. You got to vote. You got to vote.
And that message brought to you by George Wallace, who is revisiting us today, and we are so glad to have him. Coy, this is in reference to actually in alignment with something that you said earlier. One of the national days, every day is a national day. This national
Yeah.
day of this, national day of this. One of the national days is Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day. Okay, so first we give George Wallace an opportunity to go off on us about stupid phrases that we use, like "Don't cry over spilled milk,"
Well, if you
and
ain't
then
got
we'll
no
go
more,
to the
if your
question.
ass ain't got no more milk, you might cry if you ain't got nothing else. Look, I'm so old. We ran out of milk. Simple. We used to eat cereal with water. We take
Uh huh.
water. It's just so. But don't. So many stupid sayings. Don't cry over spilled milk. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But let Coy handle that one. Then I'll come up with some more.
Okay. So the question is, what have you fixated on now that you realize you gave too much energy, too much thought, too much just anxiety? Now that you're like, why did I cry over that thing? That was spilled milk. That means absolutely
Well,
nothing. What are those things that you're looking at now, Coy, that you
Mm.
say, God, I wish I hadn't wasted so much time on something I did or said or the way that I responded to someone? So that's the question, ladies and gentlemen. What have you cried over spilled
Mm.
milk and realized that it really wasn't worth it? On this it's not National Spilled Milk Day, but one of the national days.
Mm.
Don't cry over spilled milk day. So we want to know what have you fixated on that now you realize you gave too much energy, too much time, and and yes, ma'am, Michelle
yes,
Dan
yes.
Summerall on Facebook. That
Yes, it
That's what I was
absolutely
does.
going to
does
say.
include
That's
men.
exactly
Yes,
what I was going to say.
yes,
Because,
yeah.
Coy, I'm going to jump in front of you. I had a girlfriend in Atlanta, Georgia, and my mom died. She was with me, blah, 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 blah. And I have never loved anybody like I loved her at the time. And
Hmm.
she married my best friend.
Mm.
Wow, George. So you,
She married my best friend. That hurt me more.
Oh.
Wait a, wait
oh
a
my
second.
God,
Wait a second. If she was with me at this time, my mom died
a
February
very,
4th.
very traumatic time in your young life.
My mom died February 4th, told us tomorrow, and we had a funeral February 8th. So I'm going through this right now.
Wow.
But I thought, and it was just like love, love, love. But well, first of all, let me make it perfectly clear. She was his boyfriend in the first place. So that's so it was kind of like a three thing, but it hurt me so badly. So, but now that I'm older and the husband died like 3 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and all the friends in Atlanta I went to school with say, she's free now. She's free now. And everybody knew it. My family, everybody knew I would go visit next door to the house all the time. But you know what? God is good. Sometimes you think you want something, you ask God for something, and after time passes, you go, thank God that didn't happen. This could have been the worst decision ever made in my life. I don't even know whether I would have become a comedian. I probably would have stayed in Atlanta and got a job
Right.
at General Motors. But not only that, psychologically so. Thank God I did not marry this person because this person was not right for me, not right for you, not right for anybody. Not right. Thank God. Don't cry over spilt milk because in the long run, something good is going to happen to you, whether you like it or not.
Hmm.
Come on, preach, George Wallace.
Mhm,
That's what I'm talking about.
mhm.
That's what I'm talking about. And Coy, all of these things that are happening to you, and I got to tell you, George, Coy is working like 107 jobs right now.
How
So
many?
she's got
Oh.
she's working constantly.
That's
She,
another saying, 107 jobs. People say stupid stuff sometimes. She didn't stop at 100.
That's what
She
it
didn't
feels
stop.
like.
She's 107. Go ahead.
okay, maybe it's like 96, but you get the idea.
It really is. It feels like that. It really does feel like that. But what I've started doing is just trying not to dote on what people think of me or perceive of me or things that they interpret as what I'm saying, what I'm doing, what I'm trying to get at. I used to spend so much time trying to explain myself so people can understand, you know, my intentions and stuff like that. And this just goes across the board.
Hmm.
Family, friends, it's happened with coworkers, it's happened in relationships. And so what I've started to see is that the issue really isn't with me. The issue is with them. I don't have to spend this time to clarify anything when my intentions are pure, my actions line up with what I'm saying and what I'm doing. So it just gets to a point where either you see it or you don't. And that's
So
been
that's what I'm
so
saying, Coy. Is there
freeing.
something that you can share with us that, like, why did I waste my time with,
Right.
telling this, or beating myself up over something, or, you know, um we all have those moments that we regret of saying something. Radio is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
And people will bring back, certain things that you said or done. And you kind of get caught up in your thoughts and like, why did I say that? Why didn't I say it? And it's, everybody, it's not even radio necessarily, but everybody has those moments. Why did I say that? And then you kind of kick yourself all the way until you finally work that out of your head and keep it moving.
Mm, I don't think I really regret a lot of things I say.
Wow, then good for you.
Really?
I
Good for you,
don't.
because you're an
It's
exception.
rare.
You're an
It's rare.
exception
It's
to
rare when
to
I
the rule.
yeah. I mean, there's things that I've said out of frustration, out of
Mhm.
anger in the moment, but nothing that I've just
But you didn't hold
sat
on to
here
it
and
and then regret it.
I try not to. I try not to do that. It's not healthy. It creates worry.
Yeah,
Worry
but
creates stress.
even as a younger person, because you're still a young woman, but even as a younger person, there's nothing you said or did that. Okay, you're the exception to this, George, because
Mm,
I can't say that. Can you, George?
I can't. And there's so many things. Well, right now, Sybil, I'll let you have. I'm trying to think of some of the things that because I've been pretty much. I do what I do. I've been pretty much my own person, and
Always,
I
except for the
always.
girlfriend.
It's. I swear to God, had that happened to me, you would. No, Sybil, you wouldn't know me because I wouldn't even be an idiot. That's I would be working. I probably would have a family, and the first thing is to take care of a family. But I am so blessed to do what I want to do when I want to do. Going back to the old Reverend Ike phrase, you can have what you want to have, you can do what you
Mhm,
want to do, and you
mhm,
can be what you want to be. I pretty much I'm the most blessed person you've ever met.
mhm.
And that's all I can think is. I guess that's the positivity in me thinking
Yeah.
also. I just love what I do.
I think you guys are rare jewels then, because I can just think in terms of things that I said, guys that I spent too much time with, I can't say that I ever regret anything with the last my last big radio job, but I can't say that. But certainly there have been relationships, there have been things I've said I kind of just got in my head about, and I do regret, or I did until I was able to clear out clear the house of all the garbage and the junk and stuff. And so I think that you guys, I mean, just like Michelle said, and it's just like George said, it was a relationship perhaps. And Michelle, you're absolutely
hmm
right. Dawn Frederick on YouTube says lost jobs. So those things that you couldn't quite get past, but maybe jobs that you lost, or maybe a job that you were fired from and you regret having done some things that
Ooh-wee.
caused you to lose the job.
I can imagine Don saying about a lost job. So many people are working jobs that they don't like
Hmm.
and spending years and years there. And you think, why did I stay there so long? Why was I abused for so long working in a
hmm
position I don't like? I
Yeah.
think jobs are way up there. A lot of people are stuck in jobs today that they don't like because they've been working there for so long. They have benefits and they can't leave.
Right.
Um, that's pretty big one. Jobs and relationship.
And
Yeah.
I think, George, we are of a generation that has, I think, where our parents worked one job for 30, 40, 50 years.
That's
and
what they
never
did.
thought of changing.
My dad worked 40 years at the same job, and they gave him a watch. And you know what that watch is for? It's time for you to get your ass out of here. Leave. That's why. But that's what, Coy, you don't know this, but our parents, they never thought about Sybil. Am I
Never.
right? They never thought about divorce,
You
anything like
got
that.
that good job. Well, my mother did. No,
Shoot,
that was never a question for my
is
mom.
that
My
right?
mom was married 4 times, so divorce
Ooh, we
was kind
almost.
of.
I wish we were in a band. I would have said it. Your mom,
I've definitely had one of
let's
those
say
jobs
four.
where,
Four. Let's just say four. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I've had one of those jobs where it's just like I ended up leaving it. I was younger than I am now. It was a great job. I was
Wait a
a
second. Wait
computer
a
tech.
second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Coy, please don't say stuff like that to me. You were younger than you are
I
now.
know.
Yeah, it's
Coy,
like mindset
Coy,
wise.
don't say things like that to me.
Like, like my mindset, well, let's just say my mindset wasn't as developed as it is now in terms
Okay.
of how I perceive work and jobs and stuff like that and stability. I was still thinking that, well, if I want to go take a chance and do something, I'm going to go take this chance, even if it means leaving this great job. I used to work for TBS at the CNN Center. I was a computer tech. I did wonderful, excellent. Something in me was like, I just feel like I just need to leave everything and go to New York. I just felt drawn to New York as a creative, as a musician, as an actress. I was like, I'm just gonna go there and make it. I just had these hoop dreams about this place. So I left, went to New York, didn't give them any kind of warning or anything,
Mm,
expected that they're just gonna transfer me, and they didn't. And I ended up coming back to Atlanta because it was just like New York is a place where you need to have a plan, you need to, execute the plan. You don't just go on a whim. This is
No,
with
you don't.
anywhere where you go with the plan. So I felt like I regretted leaving this job because it was great. It had benefits. It's the best corporate job I've ever had. But then the blessing in disguise for me was a couple of things. One, the team that I worked on
mhm.
within the company has since dissolved from the VP of the that sector all the way down. They're no longer there. So maybe I dodged a bullet and just didn't know. Two, had I not learned to step out on my own,
Yeah.
I would never be where I am now. I
Right.
eventually went back into corporate America. I got laid off. And then after that, that pushed me into becoming my own entrepreneur, working for myself, discovering what I'm good at. And here I am later on discovering that I'm an excellent chef. I didn't know that before. I knew how to cook. I enjoyed food. I never thought this would be turned into a career path for me. And here
Right.
I am
Uh-huh.
now, later on.
Well, that's what you have to do. You did the right thing by going to New York. Sometimes you got to follow your head,
Yeah.
but you also got to plan. That's the most important thing. You got to plan, especially when you go to New York. First of all, you got to know you got enough funds to go to New York because they say if
Hmm.
you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. But you've got to have money. It's just amazing how much money you got to have to live in New York City or anywhere. But you've got to plan. How do I continue to live at this pace that I'm living? Do I have enough rent for 5 months to go to make that move?
Yeah,
But
Right.
you got to plan and strategize.
right.
What did Killer Mike say? You got to strategize, plan, and four things he said you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. You got to follow through with the plan too, not just have one, follow through
Well,
with
that's a
it.
part of
And
the strategize,
yeah,
and then
hmm
make your plans accordingly. George, I
I
don't know
had
if you've
none.
seen Fat Tuesdays. Um,
Oh my God, did you see me in Fat Tuesday? I
Yes,
had
I
such a
did. But my
I
point
didn't,
was is that there's a joke in there, and you talk about the expense of living in New York, and I think it was Guy, but who was the executive producer, creator of Fat Tuesdays, but there was a joke in there, and he said he saved up money for like 3 or 4 years to move from St. Louis to Los Angeles, and he said that money was gone in 2 weeks. And
exactly.
those are those are the kind of things, Coy. You gotta, when you're moving to a place like anywhere these days, actually.
Anyway, yeah,
But you gotta you gotta figure out how much money you got and how you're gonna be able to stretch it. Because there are cities like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, where it's not that easy. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely,
Yep. But I
absolutely.
mean, silver lining is also I ended up getting booked for TV show roles in New York. So, and I've also walked in New York Fashion Week.
Okay.
just before the pandemic started. So New York is still near and dear to me, and it's a wonderful place of opportunity. It's
So
just
yeah,
not where
so
I'll
that
be
was a
living.
decision you made that did not, you didn't lose it. Let's move to the
Yes.
What You Need to Know newsletter.
And Coy, I
Um,
hope you do go back to New York and give New York a chance because I swear if you can make it there, because that's the place for movers and shakers. If you don't do it, somebody else will do it. So you got to go to New York and get it done. Go back to New York. Honor your essence. Show people you love what you do. You'll make it. Don't worry about the money. The money will
Well, she's
come.
on her way, and no matter
Yes.
where she goes, she's going to do it. Let's move to the
Exactly.
What You Need to Know newsletter, and that, of course, is our daily newsletter in which we tell stories that are part of the African American community that we hope are of interest to Black folks, and as we learned years ago, to super serve the African American community. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. We would love to have you as a subscriber, and when you subscribe, go to SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name, your email address, and we'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday morning. And when you get it in your email box, please open it. That also helps too. All right, Coy Malone, you're up first, talking about Amir Locke, the horrific shooting death by police in, once again,
Again,
another
that's the
case
word is again, once again.
in Minneapolis.
Sad description that we have to say again. This is a 22-year-old Black man who was asleep in his apartment at 6:48 a.m. Police entered his apartment with a key on a no knock warrant. They did shout, police search warrant, get on the ground. Like I said, he was asleep on his couch, just
Yeah.
wrapped up in a blanket. Now, this is a person with no criminal history whatsoever. He had a legally owned firearm. He was startled out of his sleep. He pulled it out. Now, police body camera footage that's been released shows he did have his hand on the gun. It was on the side of the barrel, not on the trigger. That didn't matter to police. They shot him 3 times and killed him. And now what has happened is there's been responses from citizens as well as persons in power. We have the police chief, interim Minneapolis police chief Amelia Huffman, said that the county's attorney's office is reviewing the shooting and the police body camera footage. Mayor Jacob Frey also responded to the shooting by ordering a no knock search warrants. Like
A
nobody can do this
moratorium on
anymore.
those,
Yes, a
right?
moratorium on that until they create a new policy. And then there's been protests with people talking about here we are again. His parents were there talking about, they prepared their son
Yes.
to know what to do in these situations. And here he is dead because he was innocent in this situation. And there's more. The police were not searching for
For
him.
him.
He was
Yeah.
not in this
No, he's
warrant. They were at the wrong place.
never,
They don't even
never,
know why they were
never
there.
was he named in any of the warrants, either having to do with the Minneapolis police or with the St. Paul police, who were also a part of an investigation. His name was nowhere found. He had the gun because he was an Uber driver, or car service driver,
Yes.
as well as food delivery. And his parents said he had that gun for protection. It was he legally obtained. He had the license for it, and that he was a heavy sleeper, and so he was concerned about his safety, and that's why he slept like that, with the weapon. Um,
I don't care if he was a
22
light
years old.
sleeper. I don't care if he was a light sleeper. When somebody break into your house and you don't know who it is, and you just can't say police anymore because the criminals say police, you don't know who it is, but you
Right.
got to be ready to defend yourself, okay? And so that's one policy I'm never. Corey, you mentioned they uh, downplayed the do not what do you call it? Not
No
to
knock.
no knock. Well, why can't you just wait till tomorrow morning when the man walking out of the house? Why you got to break in the house in the middle of the night? He's coming out eventually. Why can't you just sit there? Why you got to break in and get him right now? And you kill the man just because he was protecting himself. Decent young man.
Right.
I just don't understand
Who
that.
wasn't even involved in any way in the investigation.
And
No
he
way.
wasn't the guy.
Sad.
He wasn't the guy
No.
that crazy.
Mm-mm.
That's two
No.
laws I don't
22 years
understand
old.
And also talking about the no knock warrant, we know of the horrors that we knew before this happened with
before.
Amir Locke, certainly, as we looked at what happened in Kentucky with Breonna
Yeah.
Taylor. and that no-knock warrant in which, or however it came out, they said they did not hear them identify themselves, and her boyfriend, her fiance, had also a legally obtained weapon, and he had the presence of mind to try to defend them from the police, and one of the police officers was shot, and of course, you know what happened there. They were going to try to charge him with this,
Yeah,
in this case, but luckily he got off of that charge. But we've seen this time and time again, and there's so many different connections and so many different tentacles here. You talk about the no knock warrant, with and as it relates to Breonna Taylor and what happened in her
mm,
apartment. Also, the judge that signed the no knock warrant is said to be the judge who presided over Derek Chauvin's case, in his murder of George Floyd. Peter Cahill was the judge, and so
Jeez.
there's
mm.
just so many different frustrations and so many different reaches in which Black people have been mistreated and subsequently have died as a
Yes.
result of these things. And
Let
so
let me ask you,
hopefully,
as a police officer, when you go on a no-knock policy, chances are it's got to be in your head. Don't you think you may be going to assassinate somebody?
and George, I
Sybil?
wonder, and if there are policemen or or friends or family of police officers who could maybe give us their thoughts on this, because here's the thing. I wonder if the adrenaline is so high as you're putting on all your gear, and you guys are and going in to get them. Are you thinking about who's on the other side of that
You
door?
know you're going to
They
shoot
often don't.
somebody.
Yeah,
You're
They know
prepared to
that.
go.
yeah,
They do. I want to take this time to remind everybody of the story that we covered on a young lady in Florida by the name of Diamonds Gant, who was in similar situation. Police served a warrant, and they were unaware of who was there. They were breaking into the home,
hmm
and she fired a shot. It hit the police officer in their protective gear,
Hmm.
and she was on the phone with 911 as this was going
as it
on.
was happening,
And
right?
as they were hiding, because she was trying to protect her family, her fiance, and their
And a
child,
child.
they find out. She said, "Oh my God, wait a minute, it's the police," and she's saying this on the 911 tape. She is still fighting a criminal case for attempted murder of a police officer.
Mm.
They were not named in the warrant either.
That was Jacksonville, Florida, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Coy, was it?
That's some
yes,
BS right there. That's enough to
yes.
make you mad, right? Angry.
And they were looking for, I believe, it was their roommate they were looking for,
Right, right.
who wasn't there.
This was also leads to another story that we had in the newsletter, and having to do with Black men remaining in the headline is Black men remaining in the crosshairs of police, in which we talk about Georgia. The federal hate crime trial began today in Georgia.
Right.
Um, as far as jury selection is concerned, with the three men who killed Ahmaud Arbery. We know that in the past there has been consideration to plea bargains, and if Travis and Gregory McMichael were willing to plead guilty, and yes, and say yes, that they were guilty of this hate crime, that they did this
Why?
because
But why?
Arbery was a Black man.
Yeah. But I
If
think
they
they did it because they're going to be treated better.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So go ahead.
They're going to be treated better in federal prison than they would state prison. So if
Right.
they get
Mm.
that time, they will have a
That
better
30
life.
years.
Yeah.
Right.
30
Yeah.
years in a federal
And
prison.
that's the one thing that Ahmaud Arbery's mother was defiant
Adamantly
about.
against, yes.
She said, I want them to spend that time in the poor
Worse.
conditions of the state prisons, as opposed to, and I don't know if they still call it that, but they used to call it the country club prisons in terms of federal compared to the conditions at state prisons. But she wanted them to be in the worst conditions possible for the murder of her son.
Let me
And
ask you
that
guys a question. Have you ever seen a federal prison?
just
Yes,
I've seen on
We have
television.
one here. Coy, have you been by the one in Atlanta?
yes,
Have you seen? I've been to San Quentin. I've been inside of San Quentin and did a show there.
Mhm.
Do you know how nice these federal prison looks from the outside? You look, what's going on over there? That's a park.
Right.
That's a park. They don't need to go to those. And San Quentin is like, oh my God, flowers are all over the place, and it's just beautiful. And the problem they have at San Quentin is the local kids breaking into the prison yards. So that's why they want to go to a federal prison so they can have better life.
Hmm.
The good old boy club, you know. No, they need to go to worst jail ever.
Now, the federal prisons are usually where this is true in my home state because I think they have a governor's row in the federal prison in in Illinois. But that's usually where politicians and that go and
That's
do
what that
their
guy
time.
went with the black hair, the former governor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Blagojevich.
yeah.
Rod Blagojevich had
He
to
got
let the
out and
hair
they
dye
sent him
go.
back to prison, right, Sybil?
He's out.
He's out.
He's out. Yeah,
See?
yeah. He was pardoned by Donald Trump, and
God
Blagojevich was a Democrat.
damn,
But
damn.
but he appeared he developed a relationship with Donald Trump when he was on Celebrity Apprentice, and so eventually he got out of prison. But
That's why
Democrat, but he was pardoned by Donald Trump.
they want to go back to federal prison because if Donald Trump president again, he'll probably pardon them too.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Yeah, if he's willing to pardon all those people who did the horrible things on January 6th at the Capitol, he's probably going to
How could
work
you
his way
say that?
down to
How could you even say that? I'll pardon those people. How could you even?
So just
Terrible.
tell us that you did it. I mean, you just said it. Just say the words.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Another article do want to point out to you in the What You Need to Know newsletter every week, and especially as we're getting close to tax time, our wonderful accountant Katrina M. Kraft gives us some advice on proving your deductions in your tax returns. When
Uh-huh.
confronted with questions on your tax return deductions, it's becoming all too common for tax authorities to deny everything and then make you prove it that your deductions are valid. And she said, don't let this happen to you, and gives examples on what you need to do regarding receipts, proof of payment, and that sort of thing. And that is in the What You Need to Know newsletter. Please keep an eye out for that. One of the things that I love doing as we are now giving attention to Black History Month and
Oh
absolutely
my,
love
it's good,
uh,
isn't it?
some of the stories that we're doing, and I enjoyed this. Well, first of all, there's two things. I love talking about people who are making history, and I really enjoy the Winter Olympics because Black people are making history of their own in the Winter
Yes.
Olympics. George, have you ever been to the Winter? I can imagine that you not been to the Winter
I
Olympics.
have not been to winter. I went to four. I don't do well with cold. Black people don't like water,
Mhm.
even frozen water. We don't like that. But the ladies that's running this year is really cool. I've been to four Olympics. I went to Atlanta. I went to Barcelona, Spain. I went to Los Angeles back in the '80s, and I went to Sydney, Australia. I do love the sports. This year with the Japan, well, I mean with China,
Uh huh.
Beijing, I'm not so sure. I'm not into it yet. But
I'm not into it either. I think that the conditions are horrible still in the middle of the coronavirus
Corona,
pandemic.
yeah,
I really wish that the United States had said no because of the injustices that have been enacted upon people by China. And so I really wish that they had boycotted it, but they didn't. So we're going to support, these young people who have worked so hard
yes,
to get where they are. And one of the things that I really love is seeing people who do not look like us who are in the Olympics. And one of those is Erin Jackson. She's
yeah,
a young woman who was just 5 years ago, she was an inline skating champion and a roller derby queen.
right.
Now she is going to be in the 500-meter speed skating. I think the 500
Zoom,
and the 1,000 meter.
zoom. She go
Right, right.
zoom.
Yeah, and that's how fast she is. So she almost didn't make it because even though she was number one in the world, she fell. She had a mishap and came in third in the trials for the Olympics. And her good friend, she's from Ocala, Florida, a fellow person, woman and friend from Ocala, Florida, who turned out to be number one, and she was going in other competitions. She gave up her spot
That's what I'm talking about.
And
Oh,
a
Make it
young white
happen.
woman gave up her spot for Aaron Jackson. And as it turned out, they're both able to go in this particular sport. And so
That's
she's
awesome.
29 years old. She is a brilliant young woman. Graduated cum laude from University of Florida, and there's just all these really great parts to her story. And
From
I
Florida,
encourage
from
you
the
all.
University of Florida, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's one good thing came out of Florida. Keep going. Usually, no
that's just
good news out of.
amazing.
Yeah, and I love stories like that. And next we're going to talk about the Nigerian, who is a skier, is representing his father's from Nigeria, and he is going to be representing that country in the Olympics as well. So I look forward to that. All right, let's move to entertainment. And George, this do you know who Mickey Guyton is?
Tell me more. I should know.
Okay.
Refresh my memory.
Mickey Guyton is an African American country singer, beautiful young
Oh yeah,
woman.
she's gonna sing something,
Yeah,
right?
she is singing the
I know
national
her.
anthem at the Super Bowl.
That's exactly right. I know her. She was on that show with the black people. She sang. She sang before when we didn't know who she was. Remember?
She has built her career, and now she's on the American Country Music Awards, but she became known because of the treatment that she received in country music, and she wrote this incredible song called "Black Like Me." Got a lot of attention,
Yes.
and rightly so. And so now Mickey Guyton is going to be singing the national anthem at the Super Bowl.
That is
Okay,
so nice. She's gonna sing, lift every voice and sing at the Super Bowl. That
the
is so nice.
national anthem.
That is my
Not the
national
That
anthem.
is
Negro,
the national
That is
anthem.
my.
not the Negro national anthem. She's going to be singing
That's really good though.
the white folks
Yeah,
national
yeah.
anthem.
She only gonna sing one verse, right? One stanza.
So
She's not
this
gonna
is
sing
the
that
question
third one
because
off.
she's a part of her performance is a part of what's known as the prop bets for the Super Bowl. They determine what color is going to be the Gatorade that's going to be poured on the winning coach.
It's a bet.
Mm.
Um, so those are prop bets. How long is it before the first goal is scored? Before the first
Yes.
touchdown is scored, before the first three-pointer is scored. All of these are prop
Yeah.
bets. Okay, so Mickey Guyton, her performance is a part of a number of prop bets. Not the least of which is how long is she going to sing? How long is it going to take for her to sing the national anthem? So they went and they they figured out they looked up the previous times that she has sung the national anthem, and so now whether the national anthem will be under 95 seconds or over 95 seconds. So
Under
that's
or over.
that's up, over, or under. Okay. All of her recent, she's clocked in at just 76 seconds in one previous performance
Ooh.
of the national anthem. Also, will she forget or omit a word from the national anthem? That's another one of the bets. What color will her outfit be as she sings the national anthem? How many planes will be flying over while she sings the national anthem? How who will be the first player? Who will be the first coach that the camera focuses on while she sings the national anthem? It's crazy. And
Also,
so
will she hit that last note? Will it be high or will it be low?
so George, I haven't seen that, but I would not be surprised.
There you go. Everything is. I think there's 10,000 bets in Las Vegas right now.
Oh, at least.
You can bet on anything.
Yeah, you really
And the
can.
home of the praise. And the home
So here's
of
something
the
interesting. Your friend
praise.
and ours, Gladys Knight, right? She sang the national anthem, and they were timing, for the bet purposes.
Right.
So it's not how long you were able to hold that last note, but right when the last note starts, so the last word, but that's where they stop.
Really.
I don't know if she was going for the record, but they stopped it at book, and that was a part of the bet.
There's limits on everything.
It's crazy, George. I'm telling you. But it's all the conversation. It's
Well, it
all the
is crazy with this Super Bowl, but they got bets out like who will the first pass be caught or will the
Yep.
first pass be missed? Will there
Run.
be a kick,
Yeah. Yep.
a score in the first quarter, in the first minute? Will
Yep.
anybody score in the first minute? There's some guy out in Las Vegas is betting like $14 million. He owns a mattress place. $14 million
Yep.
on a bet.
And I don't think this is the first time that he's done it.
No, he lost
Yeah. Yeah.
last month in some particular game. Yeah, I
Uh,
think we've seen the Super Bowl already, though, Sybil. I think we've seen that. We saw some great games.
oh my
You just
gosh,
came back in
George.
the last few weeks. I noticed that.
Yeah.
But in the last 4 games, they've been awesome. And you know what? I'm a National League fan always because my family is San Francisco
Your
49ers. But
cousin or your nephew,
my
right?
nephew, we call him my brother. Yeah, I have 7 Super Bowl rings in my family: Money Tuma and Bobby Hamilton and my brother. But Cincinnati just might pull this off.
Well, for my friend my friend Guy Torrey's sake, I hope that LA wins.
I hope LA wins also, but Cincinnati, they put it off all. When we watched the game Sunday, Cincinnati was out of it.
Yeah.
When I woke up, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that is a team of destiny. And I don't know if you've seen the stories that around, Cincinnati fans, but this one family, the father was a regular fan of them, and he had season tickets and stuff like that. And he is such a fan, and he's like in his 80s now, and he's not in good health. So his family put together a GoFundMe campaign for him to go, and they raised like $45,000 for him and
Wow.
someone, a caregiver, to go with him to the game.
Because he's going to need that much money to go to the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like $9,500 for a ticket, you guys.
That's amazing. Have you ever been to Super Bowl? I've been to
Went
4 Super Bowls.
Chicago, went to the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots in New Orleans, Louisiana.
You must go one time, but I've been to 4 Super Bowls or maybe 5. I used to work for the NFL, but I'm going to tell you this right now:
Of
with
course,
the
like
new
$1 million.
television we have, the new TV we have, the clarity, it's so much better to watch it on television than to be there. When you're at the Super Bowl, you can't see anything. The halftime show, there's
That's true.
smoke everywhere, and then you can't go pee. I'm a fan of going pee. You can't go pee at a Super Bowl. The lines are long and it's cold and it's crazy. So enjoy yourself at home on that television and get your, what do you call it, the 4K? Now they got 8K.
It's 1,000K pretty soon.
Yeah, and you see too much. Like I said, I shouldn't say this, but I was watching once. I didn't know Aretha Franklin had a tooth missing in the back. You just see too much, and then Bill Cosby, those little things just keep popping up. You just see too much. It's like whack-a-mole, whack-a-mole. One thumb. But
Well,
enjoy the game.
everybody enjoy, and congratulations to Mickey Guyton. I'm a fan, and I hope that you have a great time there. It's now time for us to move to the Yogi's Jewel for the day. George Wallace, this goes out to you and to Coy Malone, so I'm glad you both are here. Being different is not a bad thing. It means that you are brave enough to be yourself.
Do your thing.
That's right. Do your
Do
thing.
you.
That's essentially what she was saying, George. Being
Exactly.
different isn't a bad thing. It means that you are brave enough to be yourself.
I love it. I teach that to everybody. Make sure you enjoy your life. Do what you want to do. Honor your essence. Show people you love what you're doing, and you can't go wrong.
See, those are words from the great George Wallace, Coy, and I know that you're taking all of this in and you're going to run with it.
Yes, I definitely am.
All right, everybody, have a great week, and we enjoy it.
What time is it?
It's time to go.
It's yoga's. When you do yoga's jewel, you're done, right? We're
Yeah.
done?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
See how quickly? So that means you need to come back more often, George, so that we can have more fun with you and sit at your feet and take in your wisdom.
We're already done, and I didn't have to get up and go pee. We're doing good.
That's how
I
quickly
love
this
you,
goes.
and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it because my love for you does not require your permission. That's the way I see it.
That's the way it ought to be.